firstly, how does it feel to be out of school? One, being out of school, but also two, being alongside Scott Roth too?
Yeah, it's incredible. I think it's our first opportunity out here together and in the community together, which is really exciting for everyone, and we're really excited to, be part of what Scott's built and the Jack Jumpers have built, and try to, bring in the jewels into that.
How amazing is it to be able to work for a club that does that? That seems to really put them on even playing fields, at a school visit like this.
It's incredible. I think the vision and the support from the club and from the jackies around what we're doing is incredible, and it's a big part of, why people want to come play for us and why we are able to attract high quality players, high quality staff. I think the organisation has an incredible reputation.
It's also nice to just get out and about and meet some of the young Tasmanians too, for you.
Yes, it's been great. Like going around to all the different schools up northwest, Kingston, Hobart, just seeing what what kids can do and how excited they are about the jewels has been a lot of fun.
We know what the Jackies have done for excitement and building the sport at grassroots. I mean, what do you think the jewels is doing, particularly to young girls?
Well, a big part of our us being the role models in the city around, you can be what you can see in the state, is really important. I think most of the players are really attracted by that. That was a big reason a lot of them want to come play for us, is that opportunity to be those positive female healthy role models. And there's a lot of research just to show that young girls and young boys get a lot more confidence from seeing those kinds of role models out there. So we're really proud to be able to do that.
We might have a look in a minute, but do you put them through a couple of drills? Do you answer some of their hard-hitting questions? What sort of does it entail?
I think, with the kids, it's always about having a bit of fun, making sure they understand what it means to, even have setbacks, how they get back up once things don't go their way, and just doing the little things that make them better people.
Will this continue to ramp up as we look to pre-season and then once the season's sort of underway?
Oh, absolutely. It's a big part of what we want to do, is being out there in the community and connecting with all the kids across the state. So there's lots of planned activities. I think the club does a magnificent job making sure that we're touching everywhere we can and getting across to everyone.
And how is the team tracking ahead of its inaugural season?
Yeah, excellent. We got one more player to announce. We're really happy with what we've been able to build so far. Some high quality Australian athletes, and then we'll bring in 2 imports that pretty proud of what the 2 players that we're able to secure there. And then around that we've got some really high quality talented staff that hopefully we can get the best out of them.
I know a lot of the players are sort of here, there and everywhere, but is there a bit of anticipation to get them all into Tasmania and get pre-season underway?
Absolutely. So we're looking at all those dates now. So they're finishing off their NBL 1 commitment, so we've got to let them finish all that, have a bit of a breather, and then coming in, likely looking at late August, early September for everyone to be here. Except our imports will be in a little bit later.
So, how close are you to those final signings for the imports?
Well, so we've got 1 to go, and hopefully we'll announce that one probably this week.
There was some really exciting news about Steph. Can you just explain to me how sort of excited you are to see her on that World stage?
So exciting. So Steph got named in the Opal squad for the World Cup, her first major tournament with the national team, and to be able, she got that news on her birthday, her 30th birthday, which is really exciting. And it's probably late in her career to get that call up, but I think credit to her and her resilience around never giving up and always dreaming that she could get there one day, and she secured that spot. And I think she'll be a valuable piece to that team leading into the World Cup. She showed what she could do in Melbourne in those games against China and Japan, just being that pesky defender up the court the whole time, and then controlling the offense in her point guard role.
I've seen a couple of clips of just how hard she works. Is that sort of call up a real testament? Like, is that a surprise to you, considering just the amount of hours that she actually puts in?
I wouldn't say surprise. She's certainly worked hard for it, and she's earned that. I think it's a very difficult team to make, right? They're top 3 in the world consistently for the last 20 years. So, she's broken into a really hard squad, and it's credit to her and credit to what she brings on the court. I think that's why they picked her.
Obviously, a real testament to the squad then too once she comes back.
Absolutely. That's why we're so excited about getting a player like Steph Reed, of that caliber into our team. I think she was the first major signing that we locked in, and then built around her, and she's absolutely going to be amazing to watch on the floor.
And what kind of impact could her selection have on interest in the jewels itself as well?
Yeah, I think does generate some interest, and it shows, around, particularly for young kids and young basketball players, that not to give up. She never made a state team when she was a kid, and here she is representing Australia later in her career. So I think the messaging around that is really important and something that we'll definitely be leaning in on.
All right, Petra, firstly, how does it feel to be back on Tassie soil and running around with some kids?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. This is, my home, and it's good to be back, and I'm just getting over jet lag here finally this weekend, so up and running and ready to go.
How big of a priority is it for you? I know you take a lot of time doing things like this, but meeting some of the younger students, we saw the reaction when we were walking in. Like, how special is that for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of these things that I never in my wildest dream would happen to me in general, and the recognition that I end up getting around Australia. I flew in from LA on the Sydney flight, and 15 people came by for selfies or asked about the jack jumpers, and so the brand and what it's done for the entire state, but throughout Australia, is something that obviously I'm quite proud of what we've done, and for people to recognize us, it's a wonderful thing.
Is there a sense of responsibility there when you look at the crowd that you guys are able to get, even at My Staples Arena, and the support you've been able to get from that? Do you feel a sense of responsibility to give back in this way?
Absolutely. I mean, my whole time that I've been here, I've been trying to be a servant leader to the entire state, and that's why I travel as much as I travel around the state, especially in the off season. So our players understand that when they come in the market about giving back to Tasmania, that it's not going to be about them, and that they're here to defend the island for all of Tasmania. And we harp on that just about every single day about what that means to be lucky enough to play in this state.
Now, how special is it to do it alongside Claudia too?
Yeah, it's obviously Jules coming in is a big step for the club, and now to have two teams moving forward, and she's going to have a wonderful first year, and the groundwork's laid for her to do her own thing and get it the way she wants it, and so she's probably chomping at the bit to get going.
How important, I guess, is it to go that extra mile and be getting out into the community and building the sport from the ground up and away?
Yeah, I think you're going to end up having to get out and throughout the state. It's just the way it is at the end of the day. If you want to connect the state, and that was one of my number one priorities when I came in, people said you couldn't. It was divided in many different ways, politically, sports, across the board. And in order to do that, you got to travel and you got to listen to people, what they're talking about. And we were lucky enough to create the Bloodlines, which connected the state, and then obviously we start our training camp in about 2 weeks in the north and northwest, and we love going up there. And now that we have Taryn Armstrong on the roster to go back up there and bring a Tassie kid home, it's just an amazing thing for us.
Do you ever get any? Do you ever get any prickly questions from any of the young kids?
Every now and then you get something a little bit crazy, but they're young and they're going to ask the normal questions: what size shoe do you wear? How tall are you? But every now and then they give you a zinger.
Do you feel like, just from your experience in schools previously, do you feel like the Jules now fill a hole in terms of supporting and seeing a pathway for younger girls?
Yeah, for 3 or 4 years, just about everywhere I went, that was one of the questions that always came up. When's the women's team coming? Everyone believed it was going to be a natural fit, that they would follow in behind, and my message was to stay patient, and that it was something that was definitely going to probably transpire. So their niche inside the state and inspire the young youth, just as we're trying to do with the young boys, they're going to do that with the young ladies here. And so it's a natural to have this team here, the Jules here, and it's just going to do anything but inspire kids.
I asked Claudia the same question, but you've got players here, there and everywhere. Are you excited for them to all be under one new roof now at the new High Performance Centre? And get them all on the court?
As of this weekend, we have all of our players in. All of our local players are in. Our mini camp starts on Wednesday. It's more about orientation and getting their feet back underneath them, but we're excited they're all in market. We have one more player to add here in the next probably 2 weeks. And then our imports will gradually start to come in next month.
Do you have anyone on the radar for the injury replacement?
Yeah, we have 3 or 4 guys we're going through, and we're being patient because some of them are still playing. And so until we can actually get some hands on them and actually let their season kind of come to an end, we won't make a move.
And then another DP, is it? And then that's it?
We have the DP signed. That'll be released at some point in the coming weeks. Those guys are done. So right now we've trying to find some practice players that we've had in the past to come and help us too.
What are you hoping students take away from today's visit with both teams?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that we're out and about, and if you can't come to us, we'll come to you. And ultimately, that's what we've been about from day one. and obviously to inspire these kids that you don't have to be necessarily a professional basketball player or a women's professional player. There's so many avenues in media and sports, training, physios. There's a lot of ways if you love sports to be involved in it, and I think it just continues to create pathways for kids to be inspired. Not everyone's going to be 6'9" and be able to play in the AFL or whatever, but if you love sports and you want to be a part of something, there's an avenue for you now here. You don't have to go to Melbourne to find it. You can stay right here in Tasmania.
But I guess, 3 or 4 in line there with Bryce. He does play quite a big role. How meticulous is that process in getting it right to sort of slot somebody in?
It's hugely important. I mean, not just this appointment, but everyone we go through is quite entailed in Zooms and finding out who they are, and this is no different. We're not replacing Bryce. We're just adding another really good quality player that will be a local player that will help us through practice, hopefully be able to play in games, and a quality kid that's going to be able to come in here and do the things that we ask. So Bryce is a different kind of a person that we're not worried about him necessarily as far as replacing. We just want another really good basketball player.